Hello everybody, welcome. Hi Long Island City and hello TEDx. I am thrilled to be here with you this morning and I hope you've had a wonderful time so far. My name is Ghedine. I'm a life and business coach. But before that, I was you. What does that mean? It means I worked a minimum of 10-hour days, had a 3-hour-a-day commute, breakfast meetings in the morning, and in the evenings I would have events. I actually used to race my coworker to the office every morning so that I could be the first one in. Here's what's interesting about that. He didn't even know I was racing him. True story. I was all in all the time. Quite frankly, it's all I knew when I went to work, and worse, it's all I wanted. But then something happened. I had two monumental moments that changed the way that I viewed going to work. Now, thankfully, these weren't health scares. Thankfully, there was no sudden death in my family. But to me, they were just as big. The first one happened when my daughter was in kindergarten. And my husband was tucking her in. And she looked up at him and said, "Daddy, I miss my mommy so much. When is she coming home from her business trip?" When I got home, my husband shared the story with me. And I really felt awful. And if you have children, you know that feeling. But you're probably also saying, Jackie, I understand that, but sometimes we just have to do what we have to do for work. But here's the kicker. I actually wasn't traveling. I was just working. I was in the office in New York City. And when I looked back at the last 3 days that I hadn't seen my daughter and looked at what was so important that I could not get home in time to tuck her in, there wasn't anything that was there. It was just how I was. I really programmed myself to keep working. About 2 weeks after that, another incident happened. I was at my daughter's school, kindergarten again, still, and they had this Mother's Day tea party. Oh, it was so lovely. So we go to the school and I sit down in my little chair, my daughter's little chair, and she gets up because she has to read to everybody what their fill-in is. So it's this fill in the blank about your mom. So she gets up there on the stage and she says, "My mom's favorite things to do are," she said, "cook and read me books." And I was beaming from ear to ear. "And my favorite thing to do with my mom is make meatballs on Sundays." I'm Italian, right? That's what we did. Then she said, "When I'm sick, my mom brings me to grandma's so she can go to work." Oh, it was a dagger in my stomach. I have to tell you, I had not been that upset in a very long time. And I think the compound effect of those two things happening around my daughter within weeks of each other made me really question everything I was doing. What I recognized was what I was doing and how I was working wasn't working for me anymore. I didn't know how to be any other way. And when I thought about it, I didn't know what to do to change myself. So I did the only thing I knew how to do, even though it went against everything this ambitious high achiever wanted to do, or was comfortable doing. I closed my eyes, held my nose, and I jumped off my career without a net, not knowing what I was going to do. I know that I'm not alone. I was all in all the time. We have become an all-in, all-the-time community. It's the way that we work. And we don't know how to work any other way. But I have something I have to tell you. Your power-through mentality, it's not your fault. I'm going to let you in on a secret. You've been brainwashed. You have been brainwashed to really power through. From being being a child. That's how far back this brainwashing and programming goes. Think about it. How many of you guys in the audience played sports? There you go. How many of you guys in the audience remember being young, falling on the field, on the court, getting banged up? You come off the court, your coach, your parents, clean you all up, right? They make sure you're okay. And then what do they say to you? Come on, get back on the field. You can do it. Don't worry about it. You've got this. Or you're in middle school and you're a junior on this varsity team and you get the flu. And you miss 10 days of school and 10 days of practice. When you get back, you go to your game and your coach benches you. So now, not only have you learned that you need to power through, but now you recognize that there are consequences that happen when you don't. And forget about it. If you are in college and you are cramming, you look around, how many of your friends are taking Adderall to keep up? This is not okay. We think that we are building grit and resilience in our children. But maybe, just maybe, what we're really doing is numbing them to the needs that they're feeling. Numbing them, telling them to push down what's really going on. Because let me tell you, that equation that grit equals success isn't necessarily true. What I want you to think about is that there is a fine line between grit and burnout. And we are pushing ourselves to where burnout is coming up more and more. And as we get older, you would think that we would have more cognitive ability to make better decisions, right? Hey, I know better than to have to play with a broken arm, right? Happens all the time. But we don't. It actually gets worse. We want to be the first ones into the office and the last ones out. We look around and make sure that we're staying because apparently FaceTime isn't an app. We all thought it was an app, right? It's not an app. FaceTime is the value that people are putting on success. How long you're in the office, not your productivity or your effectiveness. What about you go to sit down with your boss, right? You want a promotion. You lay out all the reasons why you should be getting this promotion. And what happens? What is the first thing the boss says to you? Oh, this is great, Jackie. I get it. If you want that promotion, you should do the job you want, not just the job you have. Wait a second. I have to do 2 jobs in order to get the promotion that I deserve? How many people have gotten off the red eye and gone straight to the office? Right? Powering through. And if I see one more article or hear one more reporter talk about it's time to level up, or power through, or lean in, or become a yes and culture, I am going to scream. Guys, this is not okay. We are putting value and worth on the things that are leading us to burnout. And burnout was declared an epidemic earlier this year by the World Health Organization. We can't keep going like this. And every time we continue to power through, what's happening is we're actually creating and reinforcing the programming in our brain. So all those neural pathways are linking our actions and our emotions. And what's happening at the end is we're not even recognizing what's really going on. We are becoming numb to every single warning sign that is within our body. We're becoming numb to the fact that we are exhausted, that we are producing not really well anymore because we haven't rested and we're pushing ourselves. And here's the thing, when you become numb at work, you think it just sits there, but guys, does anything that happen at work really stay at work? It comes home with you. It's like the baggage, right? It keeps coming home with you. So what happens? You become numb to the fact that you're not getting enough sleep. You become numb to the health needs, right? I don't have time to go to the doctor because I have to work. become numb to the needs of our children, and let's admit it, we've become numb to the idea that our husbands or wives, our spouses, have actually become our roommates. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go through life numb. And guess what? You don't have to. You have the power to make a different decision. But in order to unravel that, you need to understand where your power through comes from. All decisions that we make are based on emotion. So, what we've discovered at The Resting Mind is that there are 3 emotions that teach you and drive you to power through. Guilt, fear, and love. 3 emotions that are backing your reason for powering through. Guilt. I feel guilty leaving the office early, 5 o'clock, because all of my coworkers are still there. I feel guilty not being the one to take on this project. Fear, right? You have fear of being passed over for a promotion. You have fear of being seen as an imposter. Fear of just being seen as a slacker, right? Or love. So it drove me. I loved my job. I loved everything about it. I loved my team. I loved my boss. I loved the purpose. I loved the fire. But the problem with all of that is, if you let those emotions drive your power through, you're not actually ever going to change what you do. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you want to power through at the office, stop. Ask yourself, what emotion is driving your reason to power through? Is it guilt, fear, or love? You may not like the answer, but it is there. And then once you uncover that emotion, ask yourself, what's my absolute why? Why do I feel this emotion? What has happened in my life, in my past? What am I so afraid of? What's my absolute why? And then guess what, guys? Choose differently. Make the choice to go home. Make the choice to not raise your hand to take that trip to Singapore after you just got back from that business trip to San Francisco. Say, I've had enough. And when you make that different choice, hold on to it. Acknowledge it, recognize it. It only takes 30 seconds of you holding on to a different decision to start creating new neural pathways in our brain so that we can reprogram ourselves from this power through mentality. Look, I know the idea of challenging grit makes everyone in this room uncomfortable. We believe that grit is really important. And I'm not saying it isn't. But I have one question I want you to ask yourselves before you go to bed tonight. What is your line between grit and burnout? And how close are you willing to play to the edge? Thank you.